thing about it is Pluto is squaring another very, very important outer planet, as we call it, and that is the planet of Uranus. And Uranus is the planet of change, but it's not just a planet of change. It's a planet of quick change, dramatic change, of lightning bolt change. It's the heart attack. It's the unexpected. It's the unpredictable. Those are the things that you notice when you notice you notice Uranus. And the thing about Uranus right now, it's in the constellation of Aries, and Aries is the constellation or the sign of youth. It's the sign of immaturity. It's the sign of being impulsive. It's the sign of the naive. And but it's also the darling of the zodiac. It's the infant. It's that one that you want to cuddle and take care of. But the positives of the Aryan or the Aries energy is that naivete, that innocence that we see in children. The negative, of course, is the impulsiveness, the immaturity, the acting without thinking, the leaping before you think, and jumping off that cliff, not realizing the consequences. So now you have these two energies that are clashing right now in between these two constellations, and now that can mean a sudden violence. It can mean some immaturity, people not thinking about what's happening. But the thing about the energy of Uranus is that it is being quelled somewhat by Pluto, and Pluto's energy is calming that energy down a little bit. It's allowing change, but it's allowing it to happen at a more even pace. That doesn't mean that there won't be some sudden changes, because there are times when Uranus's energy will raise itself up and come out from underneath the energy of Pluto and show itself. But you can see how the dynamics of the planets in the zodiac are exemplifying themselves right now. The Rahu Saturn, the Uranus Pluto, dynamic changes in society. We're all talking about it. We're all talking about the new normal. We're talking about things that have never happened before, and how values are changing. Society is changing. There is movement out there, and whether you want to call it positive or negative, it's the zodiac doesn't consider something good or bad. It just considers it energy, and that's something that we need to consider as well. So if you have your chart, if you know your chart, then this is the time for you to take a look at it and see what's going on. It may make a lot of things a lot clearer for you, and allow you to accept and work with the energy as opposed to fighting with it. Now, before I finish this little talk about astrology that I'm forcing on you, I want you to know a little bit about what's going on with Saturn in Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of death. It's the sign of regeneration. It's a sign of taxes, inheritance. It's a sign of those things which are extremely psychic. And this is a sign where you may have some deep psychic experiences with Saturn being in Scorpio at this particular times. A lot of times have been here recently. People have been telling me that they have been having some very, very moving dreams. Their dreams have been particularly profound. They have been particularly maybe in some ways disturbing, or have given them great messages that they may not have received before. And what's more disturbing to me is some people said they've dreamt about me. Well, those dreams are nightmares, I tell them. So you might just analyze your dreams a little bit, and see what's going on in your dream state, and see what emotions are coming out in your dreams, and how it's helping you change and helping you notice what's going on with your soul's energy. So it's fascinating work. It's very insightful. It's very enjoyable to study these things, knowing that it's just about energy, and it's just about the things that are going on in the zodiac right now. But all in all, I want to say that I believe that 2013 is going to be a good year. a year where there is going to be change as usual, but it's going to be a year where people are going to be getting their individual lives in order. And if someone passes in your life, or you're having to manage an illness or manage some other difficulties that are coming about, you will and you should be able to do so. Of course, unless there's some other factors in your chart that you have to consider. Now, Scorpio is square the other fixed signs, which puts them in kind of conflict with some other signs of the zodiac. Those signs are Leo, Taurus, and Aquarius. And those signs are having to make some decisions in their lives. They're having to make some decisions where they're going to have to change their career, maybe change their marriage, or maybe make some other life path issues, or deal with some of their life path issues. Those things that are working will remain. Those things that aren't will have to change. And Saturn looks to make that change happen. So with that, I wanted to just give you a brief overview of what's going on in the zodiac right now. And I want to let you know that I do want to bring Tommy on to our program. And we'll change gears just a little bit here, and we'll get to our main topic of the evening, which is about dinosaurs and aliens. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break here in just a few moments. But if you have some astrologers' time to bone up on astronomy, okay. Well, I'm glad you brought that up in the chat room, because Western astrology does not follow astronomy, and even though astrology is the parent of astronomy, Western astrology doesn't follow the actual sightings of where planets are. Eastern astrology does, but Western doesn't, and it's all about the precession of the equinox. So the Eastern astrologers are 24 degrees behind the Western astrological placements. So, for instance, if you're a 0-degree Aquarian like I am, you're really a 6-degree. Well, I'm at the point where I'm older, but every 72 years it changes 1 degree. So I'm really 7 degrees Capricorn with the in the Vedic chart. Many people don't understand that, and Western astrology is often very maligned because it doesn't line up with the actual planets in the sky. But that's the reason why, is because they use the equator as the area where they measure the stars, as opposed to where they actually are in the skies. So if you are known to have one birth sign, back that up if you know the degree that you are, and back that up 23, 24 degrees depending on your age, and you'll find out where you stand actually with the stars that are above us. So I think that you need to know that, and no, it's not gibberish. So, but it's something that I think that people need to know about, because there are some misconceptions about Western astrology in our general society. So they are just that's just the way that Western astrologers calculate their placements of the planets. So, well, we're taking a break at this moment, and when we come back, we will be back with Tommy Diammond, our dinosaur expert. Okay, well, welcome back to Epic Voyagers Radio here on the Inception Radio Network. I should have told you today is January 11th, January 14th, excuse me. I get mixed up on my days here. I'm your host, John Cappello. I'm a psychic medium from the North Texas area, and I'm delighted to be here this evening. I have with me a good friend that I I'm just amazed at all the things that he does. He is a dinosaur hunter, a paleontologist, a person that has a wealth of information about the ancient world. And I'm delighted to have him here with us this evening. And Tommy, are you there?
I believe I am.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can
I'm
hear
here
you.
then.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us this evening. I was going to ask you to just tell us a little bit about yourself and your career and what you do, and then I'd like to just move the conversation to dinosaurs and ancient aliens, if you don't mind. So please tell us about yourself.
Well, I got started in the dinosaur, I guess you could say, back in 2000 as an undergraduate. I took a class in it was called Age of the Dinosaurs, and the first class that I took there was a field trip, and that field trip involved going out to the Big Bend of Texas and digging on a large sauropod dinosaur called Alamosaurus. So we're talking the big, long neck, plant-eating guy. And from there, I was hooked. I began volunteering for what was then the Dallas Museum of Natural History, and went on to grad school. And I was assisting a field trip of undergraduates. And that's when I made my first large find, which was the lower fibula and metatarsals of a tyrannosaur. We're fairly certain it's Tyrannosaurus rex, but until we locate skull material, we can't say for sure that it's a T-Rex. We do know that it is a Tyrannosaur. I'm one of only two people in the world to have found one in Texas, and mine is on exhibit at the Perot Museum of Nature and Science, along with first dinosaur dig that I ever got to work on, the Alamosaurus. So both of those were my projects, and that was about 10 years of work for me. About a year or so after that, I found back 80 million years ago or so, most of this area here and throughout the central United States was underwater. There was a large area that ran from what is now the Gulf of Mexico all the way up to the Arctic Circle. And there was large predatory marine reptiles called mosasaurs in there. And I found a complete and fully articulated mosasaur, which at the time, and may still be, the only complete and fully articulated one of these specimens that was ever found. That one is going to the Schuler Museum at this university, but right now it's on exhibit down in Terlingua, Texas, down in the Big Bend region at it's called the Mosasaur Ranch Museum down there. A good friend is the curator of that museum down there. So off and on, I did volunteer work and worked with different institutions around. And then about 4.5 years ago, the museum, which is now the Perot Museum of Nature and Science, said, "Hey, how would you like to do this and make money for it?" And I'm like, "For that, I'll do that." And at the time, I was just ending a contract as a science teacher, and I had taught science for about 8 years or so. So that's kind of my background.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're also involved in paranormal. You're also involved in ghost hunting as well. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been a member, coordinator, a consultant for several different paranormal groups here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so I do a lot of that. I'm also a member of MUFON and am awaiting to become a field investigator for MUFON as well. So I'm the, as they call me in the lab, I'm the eccentric one because I do some of the things that I do on the part-time on the outside.
Well, I'm sure they're glad that they have you now. There are dinosaurs that are still being excavated in the North Texas area. Is that right?
Sure. There's a locality over in the Mid-Cities area, in the Arlington area, that they work that site very frequently, and those dinosaurs they're about 100, right at about 100 million, maybe 95 to 100 million years old. If you go out further west and southwest of Fort Worth, there's some sites out there that are being worked, and there's some localities up around Lake Grapevine that are being worked that people are currently digging.
And the Glen Rose is a very well-known site for dinosaur digs as well, and dinosaur footprints and things like that.
Right, lots of trackways down there.
Well, I guess I need to ask you: do you have any evidence, or has there been any